All righty. It is July 1. Our noon meeting has started at 12:06. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Bob,
Here.
Jay,
Here.
Here.
Thomas.
Here.
Oh, sorry. Mark,
Excused?
Scott,
Excused.
and Rob.
Also excused.
Thank you.
All righty, it's time for the voluntary pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we have the approval of the minutes from the June 17, 2024 Assembly meeting. Could I get a motion, please?
Yeah, so moved to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, motion's been forwarded and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, passes unanimously. Next is amendment and approval of the meeting agenda for today. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Motion has been approved, put forward and seconded by Member Lynn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All righty, next is public hearings. We don't have any scheduled for today. Next is bid awards, also seeing none there. Number 7, persons to be heard on items related to the agenda. Persons wishing to share their views on any item on today's agenda may do so at this time. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak? And no one on Zoom? All right. Next is persons to be heard unrelated to agenda. Persons with views on subjects not on today's agenda may share those views at this time. Please state your name and who you represent, please. And please remember a 5-minute limit.
My name's Heather Kahn, and I'm speaking as the elementary school principal, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the community and the assembly for fully funding the school to the cap.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? All right. Boards, commissions, and committee reports. Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We also have no items there, which brings us to report of other officers. Petersburg Medical Center update. PMC CEO Hofstetter will update the assembly on medical center activities. A written report from CEO Hofstetter is attached in this packet. Mr. Hofstetter.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you. I submitted my report as you see. The thing I would like to highlight from this report is the paddle battle on July 27th. Just want to make sure that if we can, it's open for, the website is open for registration, and that's at pmcak.org. And the other item to highlight is we passed our operating and capital budget last board meeting, which was last Thursday. And that's all I have unless there are any questions.
Thank you for your time and your report.
Thank you.
Next, we have Petersburg Ranger District Bourne will update the assembly on the U.S. Forest Service activities. A written report from him is attached in this packet.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for your time this morning. First, I want to introduce Nick Cluse. He's my new recreation staff officer. He's taken over the recreation program here in the district, and he is referenced in my notes if you want to get a hold of information about the recreation and things like that. Talk about the forest plan update a little bit. We're still going forward with it. Community meetings. We're going to have some more meetings starting again next year when we put together a kind of an outline of what we have for different assets and things like that we're going to consider in the forest plan, but it's a multi-year project. So it's just kind of an ongoing. You do have links in your packet that you can use to get more information.
Sorry.
Is that better? Okay, there we go. Not as much on top of it. Okay, that'll help. So, and to talk about timber, Thomas Bay, we're still working on it. We finished the cruise last week. We'll be wrapping up and starting the appraisal for the next couple of weeks, and that will go out for review. We hope to have that Thomas Bay sale available later this fall, before the end of the year, out for bid. So that'll be available for people as well. For small sales, still continuing along Midcoff Island and different roads, you'll see some lumber down. I saw some out on Falls Creek Road yesterday out and about. So again, some small sales still going on, really small stuff. And of course, free use permits still available out there. Cabins and trails, the only update I have from what's on there is Woodpecker Cove proposed cabin for 2025 has moved to 2026. We're having some problems with finding lumber and things like that for that particular contract and some design issues. And there's a whole bunch of other information on that. Great American Outdoors Act, Petersburg Lake Trail, they're still working on that, a couple more years to go. It's turning out to be a real complex project, but they're making headway on that. And then I talked last time about the SRS rack. There's information in there also. We're still looking for more people. Please apply for that. And probably the last thing to touch base, I'd like to work together a little bit with the community, talk about a fire response plan with the Forest Service. Part of our discussion on fire and emergency responses, we should develop an MOU or an agreement working with the Borough and with the Forest Service and sharing resources. So I'll be working with Aaron a little bit on that as we go down the road. But that's all I have, and you have it all in your notes too.
Yes, Member Lynn.
Question not related to your report, but from a national perspective. I understand that now we're looking at wild and scenic river, designated wild and scenic rivers here in Alaska. And there's been a list proposed, of which I've seen. What's the timeline on this and the process you're using?
So later this week, tomorrow, well, next week, there's going to be a public engagement question and answer on which of the wild and scenic rivers are being considered. And this is just basically an information gathering part of it right now. We don't have any kind of recommendation to go forward, but we just want to collect information on the wild and scenic rivers. Part of the forest plan revision update, we're mandated to do an assessment. So that's what this whole process for wild and scenic rivers is right now.
Okay. And comment period, is there a comment period related just to that, or is it going to be included with the forest plan?
Jump back into this real quick, some of my notes. I think it's a 90-day comment period, so that'll push us back into late into the fall. So, and I can send out a flyer that is on that information. I just got that today, so I can get that out to everybody.
Thank you. The reason for my question is that several of the rivers that were designated or streams that were designated are behind our hydro reservoirs, which doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense to designate as a wild and scenic river. That was my question is how we make comments on it, which we've already done, but I want to make sure that we're on the record for it.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Bourne. Any other comments, questions? All right, moving on to the mayor's report. Seeking letters of interest, the Petersburg Borough is accepting letters of interest from citizens who wish to serve the community by filling a vacant seat on the Public Safety Advisory Board until the October 2024 municipal election. Letters of interest should be submitted to Clerk Thompson at the Borough offices located at 12 South Nordic Drive by sending to P.O. Box 329, Petersburg, Alaska 99833, or by emailing to dthompson@petersburgak.gov. And the second item is Happy 4th of July, wishing everyone a safe and fun-filled Independence Day celebration. Next, we have the manager's report. Manager Giesbrecht, would you please read that?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ken Birch has been making progress in replacing the elderly housing greenhouse entrance. And the street department has installed some storm drain piping to eliminate standing water near the elementary school. Some of our recent good weather has allowed us to get dust control treatment down on our dirt streets. And we have some dust control solution left, but may need to order more before the season is over. Grading and pothole repair continue. Most streets were graded recently. There are a couple in Severson subdivision that still need to get done. A public works crew dug some ditches up at the ball field to facilitate the new lighting and other electrical improvements. We're also assisting Petersburg Little League with installation of the new fencing. This project is ongoing. Chris is working with the streets crew to identify a better model for street sweeper for spring sand pickup. We've had some complaints from folks in town. Current unit has proven inadequate for this task, and we are unable to increase its performance to the level that folks are asking for. Once we have a suitable unit identified, we'll be approaching the assembly about considering a budget amendment or just making you aware what the situation would be. We could go with an early replacement of the current street sweeper. Sanitation is coordinating with the Chamber of Commerce for garbage service over the 4th of July holiday with the downtown activities. And sanitation has been very busy right now with lots of local commercial construction projects ongoing, the cruise ships, harbor garbage, and fish processors ramping up for the summer season. As of July 1st, the wastewater departments will be incorporated back into Public Works. We are working with Utility Director Hagerman and departmental staff on the details of the transition, which will likely take several months to fully implement. Chris is working with our Borough administration to finalize an interview schedule for the Assistant Public Works Director position. To date, we have 3 in-house applicants for this position, so we're excited about that. Harbor parking is being enforced along Harbor Way and Middle, South Harbor, and long-term at Drive Down. Please remember, parking is very tight, so it might be wise to have a backup plan for leaving vehicles for long periods of time. Just want to remind boaters of the no wake zone outside all 3 harbors, and the responsibility for keeping your wake under control is on the owner operator. Harbor staff met with an Alaska Department of Transportation representatives to talk about Scow Bay project and clarify design and DOT boundaries that was included with an updated application for additional tideland conveyance and submitted to DNR last week. Coast Guard is back with their 2 fast boat response team for the next month or so. They'll be on patrol in Frederick Sound, Wrangell Narrows, and on the south end in the Stikine Wrangell area. The library summer reading programs are in full swing with over 250 local children, teens, and adults participating, thanks to the many local businesses and individuals whose donations make these programs possible. The lead service line inventory surveys should be coming to water customers with this month's mailing of the utility bills. The utility requests that our customers take the time to complete the survey and submit the information as soon as possible, thanks to all the customers of the water utility. Wastewater Department is still waiting for the release of our draft discharge permit from the EPA so that we can make comments on any portion of the permit that doesn't make sense. Pump Station 4 project continues to move towards bidding with a target of this fall to do the bidding period with the seasonality of the construction industry. We'd like to see more bids and better bids as contractors look to fill their schedules for the next construction season. Power and Light staff continues to deploy the AMI meters in the community. These meters communicate their readings back to the municipal building via low power radio frequency and will improve billing accuracy and customer service for electric customers. Questions can be directed to Power and Light at 907-772-4203. Thanks to the customers who were able to conserve power during the last billing cycle, the annual SEPA shutdown went smoothly from the utility's perspective, and all power saved by our customers has helped to minimize the diesel fuel adjustment charge included in the utility billing at the end of July. EPS is almost complete with a 30% plans and specifications for design build bid package for the next Scow Bay generator. And the line crew has been cleaning out materials and supplies from the 14th Street pole yard to make room for the Harbor Department's storage needs. The nurse call system is up and running, assisted living, working out a few of the kinks with the paging component to that. We're wrapping up a contract with Home Health for the bingo program for up at assisted living. And Derek has spoken with the state and received a TB paper that the staff can fill out. And if they answer the questions correctly, then they do not have to get a TB shot, and will save us money on the shot. So we have to get every year. And Nils from Alaska Municipal League will be in Petersburg for the AMLET, which is the investment pool meeting July 15th through the 17th. While here, Nils will host a conversation with community stakeholders about potential projects that line up with some federal grant programs. Stakeholders in this case would be both borough staff, including Wrangell, school districts, tribes, utilities, ports, and harbors. Wrangell has been invited to come over for that. And that's it on my report.
Mr. Sprague, do we have any idea what the cost of the annual TB tests run typically?
I don't have that here. Yeah.
Great, thank you. All right, any questions further? All right, moving on to unfinished business. Ordinance 2024-11. An ordinance proposing an amendment to the Home Rule Charter of the Petersburg Borough to remove the requirement of voter ratification of changes to sales tax exemptions and directing that the proposed amendment be submitted to the qualified voters of the borough. Clerk Thompson, would you like me to read the narrative as well? Being this is the third reading?
Usually we do.
I will. Thank you. If adopted by the Assembly, Ordinance 2024-11 will submit a ballot proposition to borough voters at the October 2024 municipal election to amend borough charter to remove the requirement of voter approval to make changes to sales tax exemptions. This exemption requirement was put into place in 1981. The borough is aware of no other municipality in Alaska that requires voter approval to change sales tax exemptions. This amendment will not negate the requirement of voter approval of any change in the rate of the borough's sales tax. Ordinance 2024-11 was unanimously approved in its first and second readings. Can I get a motion, please?
Yes, so move.
Seconded.
Thank you, members. Motion's been put forward by Member Lynn, seconded by Member Fine Walsh. Any discussion? I guess I have a comment, and that is with the people that I've spoken to since the second reading and now, people are rather unhappy with the idea of having their rights, if you will, curtailed on having a voice in taxation. So it has caused me to consider more thoroughly my own position. So I think it, and the question has been, why is this even being put forth? Because to pass this would, in a sense, possibly limit the opportunity of the voting public to have a say. So I am actually going to change my vote. At first and second readings, I voted in favor, but this time I'm going to oppose it. Are there any other questions or comments? Member Stanton Greger.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's a moot point since there's only four of us, but I will be voting yes, because I feel for me it takes a very compelling reason not to put something on the ballot when it's been proposed to give the voting public a chance to weigh in. And I would be very curious, since this specific thing has not been brought before the public either at all since it was passed or in many years. And I'm for one would like to give the public a chance to vote on that. But of course, I'll be respecting the will of the Assembly. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Stanton Greger. Any other comments? Member Fine Walsh.
Yeah, I'll echo Member Stanton Greger's comments. I don't really see it as my place to get in front of a ballot initiative here. If you know, if we want to let the community vote on this and have it say, I think we should let them. You know, I mean, I kind of see it the other way. I mean, I think an assembly here kind of made the decision previously to put us in this position, and now we're sort of having the opportunity to ask the community in its entirety again if this is how we want to do things. And I think we've made pretty compelling reasons for why, you know, this is really not a very normal way to do things. We're the only community that does this. So I would encourage the Assembly to adopt this in its final reading. And I'll be voting for it.
Member Lynn.
I got a question first for the clerk. What I recall was this first came forward in the old city of Petersburg, and then it carried forward as we became a borough. So it's been in place, what, about 20 years, I believe?
1981.
A lot longer than I thought. Okay. First question. Then the second question is that since we've never looked at this since we became a borough-wide. We've looked at it at all. This is first time on the ballot for
That this question has been before the
Yes.
voters. That is correct. Yes.
Yeah, okay, I think I'm the same way as there's two other members here, is that I think I ought to go before the borough, the voters. It is now a borough, and let's let the borough, our citizens of the borough decide what they want to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Lynn. All right, any further discussion or questions? All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Donna,
No.
Thomas,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes,
All right, thank you. Motion passes 3 in
it
favor.
fails.
Or sorry, it fails. Right, sorry. Yeah, need a quorum. Thank you. Moving on to new business, ordinance 2024-12, an ordinance providing for the submission to the qualified voters of Petersburg Borough, the question of the issuance of not to exceed $4,500,000 of general obligation bonds to pay cost of public school capital improvements in the borough at the regular election held on October 1, 2024. If approved in 3 readings, ordinance 2024-12 will bring ballot proposition 1, issuance of up to $4,500,000 of general obligation bonds for Petersburg School District capital improvements before the voters at the October 1, 2024 municipal election. Could I get a motion, please?
so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, Member Lynn.
But could we have the finance director talk for just a minute about, I know there's state funding involved with this, but more specifically to talk about what this means for the borough itself, if we could, please.
Sure. So, as you know, currently the ordinance is set for $4.5 million. We didn't know if the governor was going to sign it before this meeting. He signed the budget, and that includes the roof project, which is number 12 on the capital project list for the state, which means that they will pay 65% of the roof project, which is a little over $4 million. Because of this, I met with the school last week, was it? And we decided that if they did approve this project, that we would request the assembly bump the amount down from $4.5 million to $3.5 million. So this will cover the 35% match for the roof for our share, and then $1.5 million for security and access project. We've talked about this project a little bit with the assembly during the budget work session and a few meetings ago when you were looking at engineering documents for the 65% design. And that totals roughly $3 million. And so we felt comfortable decreasing it to 3.5 million, not to exceed. And when this goes to the voters, if they approve this, it will actually come back to the assembly again before we issue bonds with the bond bank. So you'll be able to fine tune the number again if you want, but it will be not to exceed 3.5 million if you make this amendment.
Yeah, based on that, I move to make a motion to amend the ordinance in the first reading to change the not to exceed amount from 4.5 million to 3.5 million.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Thank you. Motion's been put forward by Member Lynn, seconded by Member Stanton Gregor. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Jay,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes,
Thomas,
Yes.
Donna,
Yes. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to the next one, item B.
Madam Mayor, we do have to have another vote for the original
Original one.
motion
Yes, thank
as
you.
amended.
Yep. Thank you. Could I get a roll call vote for the motion as originally presented?
so move.
And
Motion's been put forward by Member Lynn, seconded by Member Fine Walsh. Any discussion on the original proposal? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Donna?
No,
No?
sorry, this is to.
This is
Um,
as amended. So
Oh,
this,
yes, sorry.
okay.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Bob,
Yes,
Jay,
Yes.
Thomas,
yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the help there. Next is item B, ordinance 2024-13, an ordinance authorizing long-term indebtedness in an amount not to exceed $19.3 million for the design and construction of water and wastewater infrastructure in the borough and directing that this matter be submitted to the voters for consideration at the next regular election to be held October 1, 2024. Ordinance 2024-13, if adopted in 3 readings, will bring the question of indebtedness to the Alaska Department of Environmental Conservation's municipal loan program in an amount not to exceed $19.3 million for design and construction of water and wastewater new and upgraded infrastructure in the borough to borough voters at the October 1, 2024 municipal election. The ADEC loan program offers interest rates of approximately 1.5% over a 20-year period. If approved by the voters, project's design and construction will be authorized to commence until December 31, 2030. Could I get a motion, please?
So move.
Seconded.
Do you, Member Lynn, put the motion forward, seconded by Member Fine Walsh. Any discussion? Yes, Member Lynn.
I'm in favor of this for a couple of reasons. First of all, we've had this particular in place for the last 10 years or so. We've got a lot of work done. The interest rate's 1.5%. And if we're going to keep without having any kind of major hiccups in our systems here, we need to continue to upgrade our water and wastewater systems here. So I'm totally in favor of this. And all the projects that are proposed, once this is approved, still have to come back for approval of the assembly. So there's really nothing here that we lose by putting it on the ballot to allow the public to vote to allow us to go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Jay,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Donna,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
All right, thank you. Next, we have communications. Correspondence received since June 13, 2024 is included in the packet. Assembly discussion items, assembly member comments? Seeing none. Any recognitions? Also seeing none. Make a motion to adjourn, please.
So move.
Seconded.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.